Hi guys. Let's get into today's video. We're going to be talking about how to be more confident. I have my little laptop so that I don't forget anything because there's a lot. I want to talk about what confidence is because I feel like there are so many words that we can use. Confidence, self-esteem, self-worth, value, and I want to just clarify what actual confidence is. So according to Google, confidence is a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own ability or qualities. That is really difficult to say. I think that confidence is really feeling self-assured, aka meaning you are sure of yourself. You have a belief in yourself that you're able to do something or be something. All my life, people have perceived me as being confident, even in moments when I have not been or am currently not in. I feel like confidence kind of comes and goes. I have moments where I feel really sure of myself, and then other times where I don't really feel as confident in myself. And while I would say my resting state is pretty high now, happily, I do also think that during the moments of being self-critical or less confident, I still do come off confident and people still perceive me as confident. I've heard that multiple times in high school or even like middle school, people being like, oh, you never seemed bothered by that, or you always seemed confident in this, or you never seemed insecure about X, Y, and Z. And to that, I would say, fake it till you make it. Like Maddie in Euphoria said, nobody can tell if confidence is real or fake, so just pretend, and eventually you yourself will not be able to tell if it's fake or not. There's so many times where you don't necessarily feel, whether it's like beautiful or sure of yourself or strong or smart or whatever. If you're just able to fake at least a little bit more than you're feeling, you're able to then channel that energy, and it kind of goes back into that whole alter ego thing. I made an entire video talking about that and why you need an alter ego. It kind of goes hand in hand. Fake it and eventually you will truly feel like your most confident self. The next one I'm gonna say, and this one may strike a chord for you, may poke a sore spot. Sorry if it does, but maybe you just need to hear it, and that is to stop judging other people. When you judge other people, you are literally judging yourself. And I feel like you've always heard the thing of like, you point one finger, there's three pointing back at you or whatever. I want to break down what people mean when they say that. If I look at someone on the street and I say, ew, why is she wearing the color orange? I love orange, so no hate to orange. Ew, why is she wearing the color orange? Now I myself cannot wear orange. I have now made that a rule in my own brain. I have judged someone else for it, so now I have to also judge myself for it. So let's say in the future I find this shirt and I really like it and it's orange. I now can't get it because I have judged someone for wearing orange. So stop judging people, because when you judge them, you're also judging yourself. The more critical you are of other people, the more critical you are of yourself. So when you catch yourself in moments of wanting to point at someone and say yada yada yada, or you want to gossip with your friends and make fun of someone, or even just in your own head you're thinking to yourself, oh that da 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 da, catch yourself in it and say no, because you are only harming yourself. That other person is just living their life. Like, they're probably confident and you're here bitching about them. They're not even thinking about you. They didn't even notice you were in the room. How pathetic. So stop. Okay? Not to be mean to you, because I get it. We're literally like taught and bred to be little critiquing, judgmental people based off of our societies and based off of what society deems as normal and not normal and good and not good. But it is up to you to decide whether or not you're going to continue living in what society has created for you, or if you want to create your own world. Personally, me, I like the world that I'm creating, and so I'm just going to keep creating it, and I think you should do the same. The next tip is to stop measuring yourself against other people. This is tricky, and I feel like with social media it has made it a million times harder. We go online and we see people that are considered perfect. We see all these perfect people, even though that isn't reality. Like, even though we don't really know what's going on behind closed doors of that perfect relationship, or we don't really know what's going on behind closed doors of that perfect body, if that's actually even their body. There are literally, we know this, apps that make you look differently than you look, and that's not just for pictures, that's also for videos. There are apps that literally change your body as you're filming it. There's just so much fakeness on social media, and so please, when you're scrolling, be mindful and remind yourself to stop comparing yourself to other people. So many times it's like you don't even realize you're doing it. You're just thinking to yourself like, oh wow, she has a really nice car, and maybe you don't realize that the thought that also crosses with that she has a really nice car thought is, my car isn't nice. You can try and separate that as much as you can, but sometimes it's just easier to not even look at her car. And I know that sounds like, what the heck, you can't look at other people and be like proud of other people. But if you being inspired is too intertwined with you being envious, it's probably just best for you to just not even look at it at all, because that's just not putting you in like a vibrational state that you want to be in. It's not a vibrational state of abundance or manifestation or joy or anything. It's literally just going to put you lower and lower. Try your best to stop making other people your ruler or your pedestal. Like, these other people are no better than you and you are no better than them. We are literally all the exact same. Do you want to say anything? Okay. Hopefully you guys got something from that. I can't, he's so distracting. Hi, my sweets. All that to say, you are no better than anyone and no one is better than you. And so in those moments of comparing other people, try to remind yourself that you are living your life. It's a completely different world than the other person. Like, you are actually in a completely different world. I want to make an entire video talking about this. Your world is literally completely different. Like, for example, two people can have two definitions of what gifts are. We all can agree that gifts are something given, right? But someone might perceive gifts as something bad, something meaning, you know, you're spoiled or you're bratty or you get too much, you're gluttonous. Whereas someone else might see gifts as a sign of love and appreciation and gratitude and abundance in the world. People can perceive two different worlds completely different. And think about how many worlds we have. Think about how many words we have in our world. Our words are kind of creating our world. Those different beliefs and perceptions of different things is what's creating our world. So when I say our world is different from the next person, it literally is different. To you, gifts mean that, and to them, gifts mean this. Do you know what I mean? And that's for every single word, every color, every number, even everything, every item, depending on what your situations are. Your world is completely created by you. And so I think it's just important to remember when you're comparing yourself to other people that they are literally in a different world than you. You are in your world. And so you need to focus on that, making that a happy place. I heard someone talk about it. I think it was Yasmin Kavari. She compared her life as a garden, and she was saying that it's her job to be the gardener and to take care of the garden, and that rain will sometimes come, but then also sunshine will come, and it all is perfect and it's all happening the way it's supposed to happen, and that all she can do is make her garden the best garden she can. I think that's exactly what I'm trying to say right now. So stop measuring yourself up to other people, because they have nothing to do with you. It's pointless, and you need to focus on making yourself the best version you can be, because that's what you're meant to do. You're not meant to be the best Kylie Jenner. You're not meant to be the best Ashton Kutcher. You're meant to be the best you. So try and do that, okay? For all of us, because we all need the best you. Next thing is find beauty in the world and imperfections in it. This helps you see that your imperfections are beautiful in the world as well. This is something that's really interesting. We tend to pick apart our imperfections. We find all of the flaws in things, but when you look at nature, when you look at the earth, when you look at just the world around you, there is so much beauty, but it's flawed, and it doesn't take away from its beauty. Like, for example, let me grab this. I have a beautiful little vase here. And in my vase, I have a bunch of different flowers, and it's really, really pretty. And if you look at it, there are some flowers that are slightly starting to wilt, or some leaves that are starting to droop a little bit. But when you look at the overall bouquet, you're not noticing those few little flaws. And how pointless would it be for me to sit here and try to pick apart at every little imperfection that is on this thing? So I don't know if this is a great analogy, but my point is that you can pick something apart so much that it eventually becomes nothing, and you're left with this really, really small bloom. And wouldn't it be better to just appreciate it in its fullness and in its wholeness of exactly what it is? Try to make a habit of finding beauty in the world and in other people. When you look out in the world, really try and point out all the things that you think are beautiful. And I think this is a really good habit to create just for anybody, but especially for people who find that they are critical or judgmental. Like, if you're someone that looks at someone and naturally finds the flaw in them, try and flip it. Every single time you see someone, try and find something that you like about them. Eventually, you'll be doing that for yourself as well, because we're all just reflections of each other, right? And the way you're treating other people is how you're treating yourself. It's just a good habit to get into. Be aware of letting people's opinions affect you so much. Pick and choose your battles. You do not need to get upset by every single thing. Let's say, for example, someone says to me, "This wall is yellow." I am not going to get mad because the wall is not yellow. And I know that. I'm just going to be like, okay, you think the wall is yellow? Or not even respond. I'm just like, okay, like, I don't know. sure. Like, I don't really have much of a response for that. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You don't need to take everything personally. If it hits a soft spot for you, look into why. Don't just get defensive. Don't just get like, oh, well, they shouldn't have said that, da 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 da. If you care, if it hurt, look at yourself and think, okay, is it true? Is it hurting me because it's true? Is it hurting me because it's poking an insecurity that I have or a fear that I have? If so, let's work on that. Let me comfort myself. Let me make it better and not really rely on that person to change to become what I need, and instead become the change that I need for myself. And that's not to say that you should be with people that are abusive or be around people that are mean or nasty. Obviously, take this with a grain of salt, but if it's every once in a while a situation happening, then try and look into it. Try and figure out why it hurts you so much. And then also, it'll give you a realization sometimes that when something offends you and you're like, oh my God, do I think that's true? And you're like, no. And then you're like, oh, okay. Well, then that's done. Cool. Pick and choose what you want to let affect you, because you do have the choice of being affected by people's words. The next tip I have is to become aware of complaining, especially out of habit or to find comfort or connection with other people. A person who is confident has confidence in themselves to deal with whatever they're dealing with. Not everything needs a reaction or complaint. Be picky. This kind of goes back into what I was saying. Don't need to complain about everything. Don't need to feel like everything is such a big deal or like everything needs to be discussed a million times over with a million different people because something slightly inconvenienced you. Be picky about what you want to actually use your words for. Your words are spells. So if it's something worthy of sharing, something worthy of, you know, being comforted, something you actually need help with, talk about it. Get your comfort, be heard, all of that stuff. But if it's just every little thing, we don't have time. We don't have time. Okay. Next one is to build trust with yourself, making promises to yourself. If you say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to go to the gym, you have to go to the gym tomorrow. You've made a promise with yourself. You have to follow through. Treat yourself like another person. Treat yourself like someone you love. If you say to someone, oh, we're going to hang out tomorrow, and then you flop on them, they're eventually going to lose trust with you if you continuously do that. And that applies to yourself. So if you make plans with yourself, do that thing. If you make a promise to yourself, please fulfill the promise. You will build trust with yourself, and trust and confidence go hand in hand. Counteract your inner critic with self-compassion. What I mean by that is when you can be self-aware enough, whether it's in meditation or, you know, right before you fall asleep, whatever it is, when you start to have a moment of being really critical of yourself, being able to hear that other voice come through and say whatever needs to be said in order to defend yourself, and being like your own comfort person, it feels really good to have yourself stick up for yourself to yourself. And I know people are probably like, what are you talking about? But if you've ever been in meditation and you close your eyes and that voice starts to chatter in a not so nice way, and eventually this really calm, loving voice comes over and says like, I love you. The truth is you're perfect. The truth is you're enough. Don't worry. It's okay. Like, I'm here. Like, that is such a good feeling. And the more that you do that, the more that you'll build confidence, because that voice is truth. And the inner critic is just that monkey mind that continuously runs. And that is just like a program set to just do its thing like a computer. And you have to retrain that bitch, okay? Because otherwise she will run your life. Your brain is literally what's creating your world, what's creating your garden. Just make sure that you're keeping her in check, okay? And then homework wise, these are the things that I want you to do. I want you to write 50 things that you like about yourself and go into detail. You could say my left pinky toe. You can say whatever it is that you feel. It can be internal, it can be spiritual, it can be mental, it can be physical. 50 things, right? 50 things that you like about yourself. You probably won't realize how many things you actually really, really like. And if you're finding it hard to come up with 50, you can start going into really big details. Like if, let's say you said, I like my hair. Okay, well now you've run out of things you want to write. What about it is your hair that you like? I like how shiny my hair is. I like how healthy my hair is. I like the color of my hair. Yeah, after you write your 50 things, I want you to write 10 things that are beautiful, but also flawed. So just like that flower that I said, look around your room and write 10 things, whether it's outside or inside or just things that you can even think of. It doesn't even have to be in front of you. 10 things that you think are so beautiful, but also flawed. For example, Miko. Miko is perfect, but he's also flawed. I hate to break it to you, but you're a living thing on earth, so you have flaws. My art wall, I think this is perfect, but that one's not hung properly. I can go on and on about the things that are beautiful, but that are also flawed. And I want you to do that because it's important to realize that confidence doesn't need to come from being perfect. And I think that sometimes we can really blur that, myself included, especially when you are someone who really loves aesthetics or organization, or just there's different things that really start to enable you to become more and more and more of a perfectionist, which then just naturally make you more hard on yourself and other people. And that doesn't have to be the case. I really hope these confidence tips helped you. I know they weren't the stereotypical confidence tips. I really, really hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you got something from it. I hope you feel more sure of yourself, more strong, like you are aware of the capability that you have and you believe in your dreams and yourself to achieve those dreams. So yeah, I just love you so much. If you have watched this far into the video, I literally talked so much. I know I said that in a few of my last videos, but this one I really talked. If this was a conversation, you did not get a word in. I don't even know how I'm breathing right now. But if you're here, I want you to comment down below a flower. Let me know something that you think is beautiful but also flawed. I would love to hear what you guys come up with. Please subscribe to my channel if you're new here. And if you already subscribed, thank you so much. We're gonna hit 4,000 soon. I can just like feel it. We're just getting closer and closer and closer. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.